What's up, NFL fans? It's NFL Nate back again. Today, we're going to be doing a follow-up to our 2021 to 2022 season record predictions. We're going to be predicting every team's record for the 2021 to 2022 season after free agency. But we did one right after the season, but we know much more with free agency. I'm still going to be doing one of these videos after the draft and right before the season because a lot of things are going to shake out what teams draft players. So before we jump into this video, if you guys could like and subscribe if you enjoy this NFL content, it helps out a lot. And also, just a quick notice, I'm going to be giving each team 17 games. So I was saying each team is playing 17 games because it might happen next season. So let's jump right into the video. We're starting with the AFC North. The Steelers, I have them going 7-10. This is tough for the Steelers because they had a very good start. I think they went 11-0 last year. And now I have them going 7-10, which is really tough. But I don't really trust Big Ben and that team very much. They lost a lot of pieces on defense. And with the competitive AFC, it's going to be really hard for them to do well. So I actually think they do the worst in the AFC North, which is sad for them. And the next team, I have the Cincinnati Bengals going 8-9. I would put them higher, but it just disappoints me that they haven't helped out their O-line at all. Like, I think they got Riley Reef, and that's it. That concerns me a lot. I don't really like that very much. I think they really should have helped their O-line more, but they still have a solid roster. It's kind of a growing year still, but I do think the Cincinnati Bengals will become better as the years go on. Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens going 10-7. I think the Baltimore Ravens, they need a little more help on the offensive line, but they're overall a solid team. They need a few more weapons for Lamar Jackson, but as long as Lamar Jackson's on that team, I think they're a playoff contender, and they can make a run just because Lamar Jackson is that good. So I do think they go 10-7. They don't win division because I have the Cleveland Browns winning the division at 11-6. What really tips me over, I was super close on Ravens or Browns who would win, but what really tipped me over is the Browns had a much better free agency. They got John Johnson and they got Troy Hill really helping that secondary, and that defense was like the concern for the Browns. So I think if they get an edge rusher in the draft, the Browns will be completely set, and they will be in a perfect condition to win this AFC North. I think they're a very, very complete team, so I really like the Browns to win the AFC North. Next, I have the AFC East. I have the New York Jets going 3-14. The New York Jets, I think this is kind of a rebuild situation for them. If they try to keep with Sam Darnold, I don't think it's going to work very well. So I think they should just reset with Zach Wilson. They'll probably not do very well, but they'll collect more draft picks, and I think their franchise is heading in the right direction with Robert Saleh. I think the next step is to get Zach Wilson, your franchise quarterback. That's just my opinion, though, but I don't think they're going to do good next year either way. Then I have the New England Patriots going 9-8. This is tough for me. The New England Patriots are a very good, they got a ton of players, but the QB situation just really confuses me. They have tons of options to do, but I'm just not sure who they're going to have at quarterback, which really concerns me. If they get a quarterback situation figured out, it'll really determine if they're being good. Like, if they get a Deshaun Watson or someone insane, then I think their record would obviously jump up. But if they get a rookie quarterback, it'll probably go down for next season. It just really depends. A lot of different scenarios for the Patriots, but I have them going 9-7 just because of all the free agents they got. Then next I have the Miami Dolphins going 10-7. They are a very good team, but I'm saying this right now, their whole season is on Tua's shoulders. If Tua plays well, I think they could even get up to 12 wins, which is pretty insane saying that. But their roster is very talented, so I think he could get up to 12 wins if Tua plays very well. But I also think they could go as low as 6 wins if Tua doesn't play well, because Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't here to come in and do crazy plays to save the game. It's going to be all on Tua. I think they're doing a great job helping him. So I have the Miami Dolphins going 10-7. And the division winner, I have the Buffalo Bills going 12-5. I think they're a very, very good team. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. This team's probably going to win the AFC East with ease, unless the Patriots or Miami Dolphins become a real threat. But I do think the Bills will win this division. Next, we have the AFC South, and I have the Houston Texans going 3-14. They're not a very good team. Deshaun Watson, situation just keeps getting weirder and weirder with the convictions, all the bad stuff, and I don't even know what's going to happen with him, but they're in total rebuild mode, so I'm super confused what's happening, but I don't think they're going to be good. And so I think they're going to go 3-14. Next team, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going 6-11. Kind of a rebuild year for them. They're going to get Trevor Lawrence most likely, and they're getting some pieces to help him. They can be a good team, but just because you throw tons of talent onto a roster doesn't mean you're instantly going to be good. I think this is like the 1 year where they start up and running, and then in 2022, I think they're going to be a serious threat with Trevor Lawrence. I think this year is just going to ramp up. Everybody's going to get used to it, and it's going to be perfect for Trevor Lawrence. Next, I have the Indianapolis Colts going 9-8. I do think they're a good team, but I expected them to make way more free agent moves. It kind of disappointed me that they didn't make any free agent moves. I feel like they should have done way more, helped out Carson Wentz a little more. It just confused me because now they have all this cap, but there's no good free agents left. I'm not sure what they're really doing, but they still have a very talented roster, so I do think they will go 9-8. And then finally, I have the Tennessee Titans going 11-6. I really like the Tennessee Titans roster. They got Bud Dupree. That will really help their pass rush. They need help on that defense, but with A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill, and especially Derrick Henry, this offense is going to be good. This team is going to be good no matter what happens. So I have them winning the division. Next, the AFC West. I have the Denver Broncos going 5-12. The Denver Broncos, the quarterback situation perplexes me. They have tons and tons of talent on that offense, but yet they don't have a quarterback, which just is such a waste. If everybody's healthy, this team could have lots of potential, but Drew Lock is a mistake if you put him in at starter. I think they need to draft somebody or make a change. It's just, I'm not sure what's happening, so I have them the worst in the AFC West. Then I have the Las Vegas Raiders going 8-9. Derek Carr, I'm not sure he's a good quarterback. Sometimes he can be as good as top 10, but sometimes he can be as good as bottom 20. So I don't really know. This team, they're good. They have some good talent. They lost Nelson Aguilar, so they need a few wide receivers. They got Henry Ruggs. They have a young defense. I just don't see the Raiders doing good with Derek Carr. It's just, I don't know. They just seem like such a mediocre team to me this year. Sorry, Raiders fans, but I have them going 8-9 and missing the playoffs. Then I have my Los Angeles Chargers going 11-9. And before you start saying I'm being biased in the comments, the Chargers are perfectly set up for success. They got Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jared Cook, Austin Eckler. Their offense is ready to succeed. And they really did the number one priority this offseason was to protect Justin Herbert. They got Corey Linsley. They got Matt Filer. I think if they draft a left tackle like Rashawn Slater, Christian Darrisaw, they should be good. And their defense has tons of talent with Brandon Staley. I do think they can be a contender, and it's just because of Justin Herbert and all the other things I said. Justin Herbert can take them into the playoffs. So maybe it's just me being a little biased, but I do think the Chargers will have a very good year this year. And you probably know, I have the Kansas City Chiefs going 13-4, a little worse than last year, and I think it's just because it's hard to keep up that super, super good record every single year. This is still an amazing record. 13-4, don't get me wrong, is a very, very good record. I just think it's one step back from 12-4. 14-2. They're gonna have a target on their back. They're gonna have a tough schedule. I do think Patrick Mahomes wins those clutch games, but I think they only have 4 losses, and they're probably the number 1 team in the AFC. Moving on to the NFC, I have the Detroit Lions going 3-14. I hate to do it to the Detroit Lions, but I don't have faith in Dan Campbell. Jared Goff just does not seem like somebody. Their offense lost 2 really good wide receivers in Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay. They have DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, what I think are good, but those 2 players don't just make an offense super good. Their defense has a few players but needs a lot more pieces. It just seems like such a broken team. I think they need a rebuild. I think they need a new quarterback to start this franchise fresh, in my opinion. So I don't think they're going to do very well. I have them going 3-14. Next, I have the Chicago Bears going 5-12. Now, people might get super mad at me for doing this, and I understand why. The Bears have a very, very good defense, but They lost Kyle Fuller. They don't have an amazing defense. They do have an amazing defense, but I just don't see how Andy Dalton and Allen Robinson, David Montgomery can keep this team afloat. Yes, they made the playoffs last year, but I do not have any faith in Andy Dalton helping this team. I don't know why they tried to get a third mediocre quarterback on their team. Obviously, they got rid of Mitchell Trubisky, which is just a sad investment, but I don't know why they got Andy Dalton. They just need someone super good. They obviously went after Russell Wilson, but I don't think they're going to do very well. I have them going 5-12. Next, I have the Minnesota Vikings going 8-9. I think they're definitely a contender with Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and all those wide receivers they have. They have a very talented offense. I think they invest in the offensive line in the draft a little bit. They should be good. Their defense and their pass rush kind of concerns me, though. So I'm not exactly sure which ways they're going to go, but I do think the Minnesota Vikings, they have potential, and I think if they play well and Kirk Cousins plays well, they could definitely be a playoff team, but right now I have them going 8-9. And finally, I have the Green Bay Packers going 12-5. Green Bay Packers, they re-signed Aaron Jones. That's pretty much all they've done in free agency. So I do think they're still going to be on top of the NFC North pretty easily. This division's not the best, so I think the Packers can cruise with Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers. Their defense has a few holes. They need some cornerback. They do have Kevin King, but they got Kevin King back, but I do think they need another cornerback. So that's what I have for the NFC North. Next, the NFC East, I have the Philadelphia Eagles going 4-13. This is tough because a lot of people are like, the Eagles might want to draft a new quarterback. I see it a much, much different way. I see it as the Eagles' offense is a place for quarterbacks to fail. Like, it's a perfect recipe for a rookie quarterback with talent to fail. So I think drafting someone like Justin Fields or Trey Lance, we're just going to be worse. Yeah, they'll be explosive. Yeah, they'll have a lot of flashy highlights when they scramble out of the pocket, but with no receivers to throw to, it's just not a recipe for success. I think instead of getting a new quarterback, you do all you can do this year. You have one shot for Jalen Hurts, help him as much as you can, and build a roster around him so they can succeed. This team has so many holes, and they're just not looking good, so I have them going 4-13. Rough for the Philadelphia Eagles and the other teams in the NFC East. I have them all going 9-8. And I think all these teams have the potential to get 11 wins, and all of them have the potential to go 7 wins. I just could not pick a division winner. It was so tough for me because the Cowboys, you got an explosive offense. Zeke, Dak, Cooper, Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. The football team, you have the best D-line in the league, and they got a few explosive weapons on offense. And then you have the New York Giants, which probably have the most talent out of all of these with Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, and a very good defense. But Daniel Jones is there, so I'm not sure about their quarterback situation. So this division is going to be very, very close. I don't think any team is just going to destroy it. I think they'll probably all hand each other some losses. That's why they'll all go 9-8. I don't have any of these guys winning the division. After the draft, I will do playoffs as well, so that'll be exciting. But right now, I'm just saying they're all 9-8. I'm not picking a division winner. I think they're all very equally matched. They have different strengths, different weaknesses, so it's very, very tough to pick. But NFC East is a division that intrigues me a lot next year. Next, we have the NFC South. I have the Falcons going 4-13. This is tough for me. They choke game. Like, you can talk about their offense like Todd Gurley, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. They get injured a lot. They choke games a ton, and that defense has a lot of holes in it. They didn't do anything in free agency. And yeah, talent matters, but also closing out games matters, and winning games matters more. I feel like the Falcons aren't going to do that well. I don't know. Arthur Smith is just going to have a down year in his first year. I think maybe they'll draft a quarterback to become to be their franchise quarterback in the future. But right now, I don't think they're going to do very good next year. Then I have a very intriguing team, the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers is a very interesting team. They have a super, super young defense, an offense with Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore that's very talented, actually, and Robbie Anderson. But their quarterback situation is I'm very hesitant to put them good. You've seen in all of these things, teams with confident quarterback situations, I put higher. The Carolina Panthers really intrigue me. I don't think they're going to do that well, and it's sad for me to say, I just don't think they're going to do that well unless they get a quarterback. If they land Deshaun Watson, their record's going to 10-7 or higher instantly. But if they just stick with Teddy Bridgewater, it's probably going to stay at 6-11 because I'm not sure what's going to happen. They could even draft a quarterback like Trey Lance, which I think their record probably would stay here too. It's a big mess, but I do think they have talent. I do think they have a very good future. The quarterback situation is so important in this NFL, so that's why I'm not sure about the Carolina Panthers. Then next, I have the New Orleans Saints going 9-8. Again, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, I think that's good competition. I don't know which one's going to start, but both of them are pretty good quarterbacks, and they just have very good talent on that roster, so I do think they'll go 9-8. A respectable record. They might not make the playoffs, though, without Drew Brees. And then finally, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have them having the best record in the NFL with 14-3. Last year, it was a rocky road right off the bat because they had tons of talent, but it hadn't really meshed and they hadn't really gotten together. Everybody's back. Shaq Barrett, Levante David, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, they're all back. That scares me. Now they're going to have a true offseason with Tom Brady and that whole roster. They're going to be a scary, scary, scary team to beat. That defense was so, so good. And I would not be surprised if the Bucs even do better than this. Just because I think they're probably the front runners to win the Super Bowl again, just because last year people weren't sure if it was going to work. Well, it worked, and they're doing it again, so that scares me a lot. I think the Bucs are going to be one of the best teams in the league. Finally, I have the NFC West. I have the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the 49ers all going 11-6. It's crazy. This division is going to be absolutely stacked. You have the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson instantly makes them a playoff contender. Russell Wilson almost always sends the Seahawks to the playoffs with DK Metcalf. That defense isn't bad. It's not very good. They got Chris Carson back. So I think Russell Wilson will clutch up games and just win them the close games. The Cardinals, they have Kyler Murray. They have a very explosive offense with DeAndre Hopkins. They got AJ Green. It's just, they got tons and tons of players. And then you have the 49ers who, I don't know what's happening with their quarterback situation. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not sure if that's the exact answer, but their roster is so, so talented. Everybody in the comments was on my last video was like, the 49ers should not be 6-10. And I realize that now. The 49ers are much better than that. I think they have a definite chance of going deep if they get a good quarterback. They made to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think they can do very good with him again. But I think the NFC West is going to be scary, and it's just going to be super, super competitive. And then I have the Rams going 12-5. What separates the Rams from the rest of the NFC West is just they're more complete. I feel like each team has a flaw on each of these. For the 49ers, it's quarterback. For the Cardinals, it's their secondary. And for the Seahawks, it's their defense. But for the LA Rams, I think Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, that's just a very good combo. Combo that with a number one defense. I really like the Los Angeles Rams. They could do better than this, and if they were in a different division, I think they could have 13 wins, but they're in an extremely good division. I think they'll go 12-5. I think they're my favorites to win the division. That's just my take. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. If you enjoy this NFL content, watch my last video right there, and subscribe if you want to see new stuff, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. See ya!